The birth of Kemet, the first dynasty of Egypt. Chapter 1. Introduction, Narmer and the birth of Kemet. Before the pyramids rose above Giza, before pharaohs reigned from grand palaces, Egypt was not one nation but two distinct lands. In the fertile marshes of the north, life thrived amid the delta's tangled rivers. In the sun-scorched valleys of the south, villages clung to the Nile's lifeblood. These separate worlds birthed an idea that would reshape history, a single, unified civilization. This is the story of Egypt's first dynasty, when scattered tribes became one nation under a vision of kingship that endured for 3,000 years. At its heart stands Narmer, the first pharaoh, whose unmatched vision, strategy, and authority transformed fragmented villages into a united kingdom. To understand his glory, we must journey back over 5,000 years, to a time when Upper and Lower Egypt were worlds apart, divided by geography and culture. The Nile, a river of destiny, shaped their lives, its annual floods dictating the rhythm of existence. In the south, Upper Egypt's farming communities, like the Thasian and Badarian cultures, coaxed crops from fertile soil as early as 4000 BCE. Their graves, filled with pots, tools, and ornaments, reveal a belief in the afterlife. In the north, the delta's wetlands fostered the Mede and Bhutto cultures, traders connecting Egypt to the Levant and beyond. These two worlds, initially distinct, began to converge, their pottery and symbols blending by 3200 BCE, hinting at a cultural unity spreading along the Nile. Yet, this was not peace. Power concentrated in the hands of ambitious chiefs, particularly at Abydos in Upper Egypt, where rulers adopted the falcon god Horus as their emblem, marking the dawn of divine kingship. By 3100 BCE, the stage was set for a unification that would birth the world's first great state, led by one king. Chapter 2. Egypt before unification. Long before the name Egypt was spoken, the Nile shaped two distinct peoples. In Upper Egypt, where sandstone cliffs hugged the river, small farming communities thrived. The Thasian and Badarian cultures, dating to 4000 BCE, cultivated crops in the fertile black soil. Their burials, adorned with food, tools, and ornaments, show a belief in life after death. Over time, the Badarians evolved into the Nakada culture, whose swirling pottery designs, boats, animals, and abstract symbols hinted at a new order. Chiefs grew powerful, controlling farmland, herds, and Nile trade. Settlements like Abydos and Hierakonpolis swelled, with leaders demanding loyalty beyond their villages. In contrast, Lower Egypt's delta was a vast wetland of lagoons and fertile plains. Here, the Mede and Bhutto cultures flourished as traders, handling copper from the Levant, cedar from Lebanon, and exotic resins. The south valued stone maces and ceramics, the north prized trade goods and foreign connections. By the Nakada III period, 3200 to 3000 BCE, artifacts reveal a growing unity. Similar pottery and symbols appeared from north to south, carried by boats and caravans. Yet, unity bred conflict. At Abydos, rulers styled themselves with the Horus falcon, their names in Serek's royal insignias etched on jars and bone. These were no mere chiefs but kings in all but name, controlling trade and building fortified enclosures. Their symbols spread far, even to Canaan, showing Egypt's expanding reach. By 3100 BCE, Upper and Lower Egypt remained divided in name, but a tide of unification was rising. Ambitious rulers, clashing like storms over the Nile, set the stage for one leader to forge a single kingdom, forever altering the course of history. Chapter 3. Narmer's rise, from local chieftain to pharaoh. In the dawn of Egypt's unification, Narmer emerged as a towering figure. From Hierakonpolis in Upper Egypt, where falcons soared and craftsmen carved symbols of power, Narmer inherited a vision of a united Egypt. Not yet the legendary pharaoh, he was a strategist and leader, building on generations of chieftains who extended influence northward. By his time, Abydos and Hierakonpolis rulers were kings in all but name, wielding authority over vast Nile stretches. Narmer's ambition went further, a single Egypt under one crown. His rise blended strength, diplomacy, and marriage. By wedding Queen Neithotep, a Delta noble, he tied his southern dynasty to Lower Egypt's powerful families, uniting the lands through blood and politics. Yet, rivalry persisted. Lower Egypt centers, like Buto and Medi, had their own rulers and armies. Narmer's relentless campaigns absorbed these chiefdoms, his name in a Horus-topped serek appearing on jars, ivory, and pottery from Abydos to Canaan. These fragments, found even in Palestine, show Egypt's reach extending abroad. By emerging as supreme ruler, Narmer became the first pharaoh, donning the Shent crown, a fusion of Upper Egypt's white crown and Lower Egypt's red. This was no mere ornament but a declaration of unity. From Abydos, his spiritual capital, to Memphis, the new political center, Narmer built an administration. Scribes recorded grain shipments, workshops crafted ceremonial palettes, and priests invoked Horus and the goddesses Nekbet and Wadjet. The Narmer palette, a stone masterpiece, immortalizes his triumph. On one side, wearing the white crown, he strikes a foe. On the other, in the red crown, he surveys captives. This political theater in stone proclaimed, Egypt is one, and Narmer is its king. Chapter 4, Queen Neithotep, the power behind the throne. Behind Narmer's throne stood Neithotep, a woman whose influence shaped Egypt's first dynasty. Her name, meaning Neith is satisfied, tied her to the Delta's war goddess, suggesting she was a princess from Sais, married to Narmer to cement his claim over Lower Egypt. Their union was a political bridge between two lands. Neithotep was no passive consort. Her name appears in a serek, a royal symbol typically reserved for kings, at sites like Abydos, Nakada, and the Sinai. This unprecedented honor hints at near-equal authority. Her title, Consort of the Two Ladies, invoked Nekbet and Wadjet, goddesses of Upper and Lower Egypt, a role usually held by pharaohs. Her massive mud brick tomb at Nakada, with wooden chambers and subsidiary burials, rivaled those of kings, a rare honor for a woman. Neithotep's influence likely extended beyond Narmer's reign. As mother to their son, Horaha, she may have acted as regent during his youth, guiding Egypt until he could rule. Seals from later tombs, like King Den's, confirm her as mother of the king, an office of power. If true, Neithotep was Egypt's first female ruler, predating Hatshepsut. Her legacy endured, with her name revered centuries later. Neithotep reminds us that Egypt's rise involved queens and regents as much as kings. Her serek, titles, and monumental tomb testify to the vital role of royal women. While Narmer united the lands, Neithotep ensured that unity lasted, a founder of the dynasty and perhaps the first woman to govern a great civilization. Her story leads to the Unification Wars and the Narmer Palette, a relic that captures Egypt's earliest triumphs. Chapter 5, The Unification Wars and the Narmer Palette. Egypt's unification was no single event but a complex process of conflict, negotiation, and cultural blending around 3100 BCE. Upper Egypt's people, framed by cliffs and wearing the white crown, worshipped Horus and farmed fertile plains. Lower Egypt's delta, a maze of rivers, revered Neith and Wadjet, its people wearing the red crown and controlling Mediterranean trade. For generations, they coexisted, sometimes trading, sometimes clashing. Kings like Scorpion II pushed north, their mace heads showing authority over the delta. Narmer inherited this struggle, aiming to permanently unite the lands. His achievement was not just military but cultural, symbolized by the Narmer palette, a ceremonial green schist artifact from Hierakonpolis. Far from a cosmetic tool, it was state propaganda. On one side, Narmer, in Upper Egypt's white crown, strikes a captive, with Horus subduing papyrus plants symbolizing Lower Egypt. On the reverse, wearing the red crown, he inspects decapitated foes, a brutal yet symbolic end to division. Bovine goddesses, possibly Atha, bless his kingship, while intertwined serpopards form a circle of unity. Archaeological evidence, mass graves at Abydos, destroyed delta towns, reveals the violence of these wars. Yet Narmer knew conquest alone was insufficient. The palette was a political tool, teaching Egyptians that their king ruled both lands divinely. He blended Horus and Wadjet into royal imagery, with the latter as the uraeus on his brow. The double crown, combining red and white, became eternal kingship. Narmer's genius lay in sacralizing power through myth and ritual, making the palette Egypt's birth certificate as a unified nation under a divine pharaoh. Chapter 6, building the machinery of state, Egypt's first administration. Unifying Egypt was only the start. Ruling it required innovation. Narmer's conquests demanded a system to govern a vast land along the Nile. Thus, Egypt's first administration emerged, a network of scribes, officials, and institutions that turned kingship into a lasting civilization. Hieroglyphs, once decorative, became tools of statecraft, recording harvests, goods, and ownership. Clay seals from Abydos show jars of oil and grain marked with royal names, proving centralized resource management. Writing extended the pharaoh's reach to distant villages. Officials from noble families, treasurers, field overseers, artisans, and priests served as the king's eyes and hands. Agriculture underpinned the state, with taxation tied to Nile floods. Scribes measured fields, calculating dues that fed workers and armies, upholding Mat, the cosmic balance. Memphis, strategically placed between Upper and Lower Egypt, became the political capital, while Abydos remained spiritual. Temples, as economic hubs, owned land and employed laborers, linking religion to governance. Horus became inseparable from kingship. The pharaoh was a living god, his officials serving divinity. A standing military, funded by taxes, quelled rebellions and secured resources like gold and copper from Nubia and the Sinai. By the First Dynasty's end, Egypt was a civilization, its bureaucracy, taxation, and divine kingship enduring for 3,000 years. Narmer and his successors built a system that sustained unity, setting the stage for Hora-Ha, who carried the dynasty forward and founded Memphis, Egypt's enduring capital. Chapter 7: Hora-Ha and the founding of Memphis. Narmer united Egypt, but his son Hora-Ha ensured its permanence. Named Horus the Fighter, he embodied the falcon god, proving Upper Egypt's dominance over the unified Nile Valley. Narmer's death, possibly in battle, left Egypt fragile. Hora-Ha quelled Delta resistance and led campaigns into Nubia, securing his throne. His greatest legacy was founding Memphis, the White Walls, where Upper and Lower Egypt met. Legends credit him with diverting the Nile to build it, a tale reflecting his role as a builder. Memphis became Egypt's first true capital, a hub of palaces, temples, and workshops, controlling trade and farmland. Religiously, it housed the cult of Ptah, the creator god, fusing governance with spirituality. Priests of Ptah gained influence, rooted in Hora-Ha's vision. His campaigns into Nubia and the Sinai brought gold, cattle, and copper, enriching Egypt and proving its strength beyond its borders. Pottery stamped with his name shows his authority from Delta to South. Taxes, rituals, and festivals tied people to a unified state, making them citizens under a divine pharaoh. Hora-Ha's Abydos tomb, larger than Narmer's, included subsidiary graves and inscribed labels, early records of officials and goods. His reign transformed Narmer's conquest into a durable system, proving unification was no dream. As warrior and builder, he created cities, laws, and rituals, ensuring the First Dynasty's legacy. Yet, Egypt's unity remained fragile, dependent on successors like King Djer, who would further expand and solidify the dynasty's power. Chapter 8: King Djer and the expansion of the First Dynasty. With Egypt united under Narmer and Hora-Ha, King Djer, Hora-Ha's successor, strengthened the First Dynasty. His Horus name marked him as the falcon god's embodiment, and his 40-year reign brought stability and expansion. The Nile Valley, though unified, housed powerful local elites and former kingdoms. Djer balanced diplomacy, religion, and force to maintain control. Campaigns in the Delta suppressed uprisings, while expeditions to Nubia and the Sinai brought gold, copper, and stones, integrating these regions through administration and temples. Scribes refined Hora-Ha's systems, recording trade, tribute, and labor on seals from Abydos and Saqqara. Djer reinforced the divine link to kingship, maintaining cults of Horus, Nekhbet, and Wadjet, and upholding Mat, the cosmic order. His monumental Abydos tomb, with over 300 subsidiary graves, showcased wealth and ritual sophistication. Ivory combs, pottery, and ceremonial palettes reflected the dynasty's artistry. Economically, trade with the Levant and southern lands brought copper, wine, and oil, while irrigation and taxation supported projects, armies, and temples. Dia's reign showed that power rested on administration, religion, and military might. By his death, Egypt was a functioning kingdom, its divine monarchy recognized from the Delta to the First Cataract. His groundwork paved the way for successors like Den and Mernith, ensuring the First Dynasty's legacy as a civilization built to endure for millennia.